Who was imprisoned in these camps? They were just
There was,
Germans?
no, that was after the war. There was no prisoners. That was freedom really, but only they call it UNRWA. They give you food, to supply for the DP camps. They call DP because displaced persons.
Oh, okay.
And then from Bremen I went to depots. Not a big camp. There was about 5,000 people there, and then I heard that they making Polish army, occupation army for Americans working, because the American army from the front, they want to go home. Somebody had to take place to guard all Nazis and the SS. And then me and few friends, we went to Mannheim, Mannheim, Kiefertal. There was the point. There was the place where they started the army there. And then they go by the company, and company was 200 men in the company. And I was that time. That was 1945, and July something.
So you were just 18. Right?
Not yet.
Okay.
And then I was 17 at the time.
Okay.
And then I was in a 6 weeks training, like a Polish, all Polish men, soldiers.
Where do you train? In Mannheim or?
Yeah, Mannheim.
All right, what kind of training did they give you?
Oh, army training.
Yeah, like marching and like
shooting and guns, everything. Yeah. The training, that was that, and then after 6 weeks, then they give every company get a place to go guard for the guard. When I went to, name was Asperg. Name was Asperg. That's close to Ludwigsburg.
Okay.
Close to Ludwigsburg and Stuttgart. I was over there. That's when my company was 14 company from the Mannheim there, Kiefertal.
Yeah, what was the number of your company? Now, were you assigned to the American army or the Polish army? Which?
That was American occupation army.
Okay.
Only Polish. There was like take for example, the officers was looked like a Polish officer went to, for example, to major, right? But major was American and Polish. Now the Americans look after after us, but in the hands was on the Polish hand, just the Polacks was there. But then we went. That's the first place where we get guard Nazis, the biggest Nazis from the German day.
Okay, so they took you you went from Mannheim to where?
To Asperg.
To Asperg.
Asperg.
And Ludwigsburg.
Yeah,
Okay.
close to Ludwigsburg, yeah. That was there, my company, because there was there was almost 60,000
Wow.
Polish, the guardmen, And we got the training, we got everything, uniform, same like American. But then, what happened? Polish government, that was communist, they was arguing with the United States that America making Polish army, the war is finished. Why? And they tell us to go home to Poland. I said, no, I don't want to go to Poland because I was communist. I said, no way.
Okay, before we go there though, as part of the American Occupation Army, let's talk about, you were in Ludwigsburg.
Yeah.
You were near Ludwigsburg.
Yeah.
And where did you go to guard the Nazis? Let's talk about that.
That's Asperg.
Asperg.
That was on a hill. There was the biggest jailhouse was in Germany, where the biggest Nazi, they grabbed the American, catch him, to like our generals, even Goering was there, Goering, and then they I guarded him for 2 weeks, my company, and then we transported him to Nuremberg for the court. And from not only that one prisoner, but we got another one prison, big prisoner, SS, the Germans SS, you know what that means,
Yeah.
SS.
Yeah.
That was not Hitler, the first soldiers.
Yeah, the ideological Nazis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I stayed there till another company take over because our company was thrown down, lots of people going home to Poland, back home. Then it was short with guys, and they split our company to company 16.
Mhm.
And remember, one company got 200 men.
Wow.
And there was, I was 16, the company there, 16. And I was there guarding that, when we finished that day, we take all those big Nazis to Nuremberg. They bring more Nazis generals from Japan, and they put them in that Augsburg. And I went to Ludwigsburg, and then in Ludwigsburg I was right to the 1948. We are guarding their SS, and then the depot like with the gasoline and medicine like penicillin, all these stuff. We are guarding that. There was not only one, there was three company. That's Ludwigsburg.
Okay, now let's talk about when you were guarding the Nazis. These were the big Nazis,
Yes.
right? And what would you be stationed outside the jail cells or marching up and down? What kind of work?
Outside.
Yeah.
My job was like the towers,
Yeah.
You go on the tower, and from that year nobody can escape. From there was the biggest prisoner for the Germans. Before there was Hitler.
Yeah.
But one side was cemetery, the other one was jailhouse. When he died, right away he was buried right on a hill there. But you don't see that jailhouse from the street because there was inside the mountain, inside. But then when we transport, we make it another, because there's some different company take over us. I went to Ludwigsburg, that's only 5 kilometers different, and we guard their SS, and like I said, depot and all different, Americans, magazines, warehouses. And we got there till 1948. But 1948, there was, problem. People want to emigrate because you don't want to stay, all time in Germany in the army, because sometimes you have to get out from an army. Where are you going to go? Well, I decided to go to Canada. First, I want to go to States, but I got a girlfriend, and she was in Canada already. She come to Canada 6 months early, and she says that she wrote me a letter. That's a beautiful Canada, it's a beautiful country. And I make 7